What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. As most of you will know, the race-baiting fuckpig David Lammy has been roaming around, running his mouth off about deportations for more than a week now. Because in his mind, sending home foreign criminals is the most abhorrent practice anyone could do. With nonsense like this article from last week, Deportation Row, David Lammy asks, when will Black Lives Matter again? Which is completely fucking laughable considering some of these people they deported have actually been put in prison for killing other black people. You know, those who David Lammy says their lives matter. But in his opinion, the government don't think that. When in actual fact, if you're sending home people who have killed black people, then surely you are helping them out. Now, we're not going to read all of this because, like I said, it's an old article and it's not really what this video is about, but it leads on to a more recent one. It says David Lammy has challenged the government over the Home Office's decision to resume deportation flights to Jamaica, asking it to demonstrate that Black Lives Matter.
Flights to Jamaica. So the question today is, why have they resumed those flights? In light of the scandal of people who arrived in this country as children, how can he guarantee the House that there are not people on those flights who are actually British nationals? And when he relies and says to the House that all of them are, or gives the impression that they are murderers and rapists, he knows that there are many who are there for non-violent offences. We cannot, at the same time in this House, condemn county lines and those who would pimp young black children in this country and send those same children back to Jamaica for such drug offences. People watching see the way that this government holds in such disrespect the contribution of West Indian, Caribbean and black people in this country. When will Black Lives Matter once again?
In angry and emotional scenes in the Commons on Monday, fellow Labour MPs joined Lammy in condemning the scheduled deportation of 50 people on Tuesday before the release of a report on the Windrush scandal that has absolutely fuck all to do with deporting criminals. The Windrush generation was a fuck up by the government, not by these people. They weren't criminals and no one ever said that they was. Except Labour, of course. They have spent the last couple of weeks comparing deporting criminals to the Windrush generation, which, as I've said many times, is absolutely fucking disgusting. Lammy's urgent question about the planned flight was answered by the Immigration Minister, Kevin Foster, after the Home Secretary, Priti Patel, left the chamber to jeers from MPs. Well, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want Priti Patel answering that because she'd shit all over you. And as an immigrant herself, you wouldn't be able to call her a racist bigot. Although, to be honest with you, it's David Lammy. He will call his own mother a racist bigot if she disagreed with him. Like I said, everybody knows this guy is the world's #1 race-baiting fuckpig. But this is an important bit here. Foster, who was appointed in January, said the Windrush review was independent and he had no control over when it would be released. He said the deportations were in line with a law passed in 2007 by the then Labour government, which is very telling and also important for the next article we'll take a look at in a second. Foster said, let's be clear, there are no British nationals on that flight. And let's be clear, the foreign national offenders on the flight have been sentenced to a total of 300 years in prison. The offences relate to everything from sex offending, serious drug trafficking offences, violent offences, firearms offences. That is what's happening in this instance. Stuart MacDonald, the Scottish National Party's immigration spokesman, said the government action could leave 41 British children without a father in the country and 9 British citizens without partners or husbands. Well, these people shouldn't have broke the fucking law. And let's be honest, these children or their partners don't have their husband or their dad if he's in fucking prison for breaking the law, you stupid cunt. How dumb do you really need to be to come out with such shit like that? Mind you, it's coming from an SNP shitweasel, we should expect no less. But this last little bit here shows the delusion of The Guardian and of course Labour MPs that are trying to stop these deportations, even though it was the Labour government that put this through. More than 100 protesters braved heavy rain on Monday night to demonstrate outside Downing Street against the planned charter flight on Tuesday morning, which I'm not really sure why the Guardian bothered adding that. 100 people is piss poor. I could have got more than 100 people down there to counter-protest against them if I tried, I'm sure. It just seems to me like they're claiming there was protesters there, even a paltry 100, therefore the country doesn't want this. No, 100 people are moaning that a bunch of criminals are being taken out of the country. Who gives a flying fuck? Which takes us back to David Lammy and an article from yesterday. Borders Act comes back to bite David Lammy, a member of the Blair administration who introduced laws now being used to kick out Jamaican criminals. Oh shit, so David Lammy doesn't really care about black lives like he claims he does, because he is the one who signed the bill that kicked these fuckers out of the country. Amazing how he's been extremely quiet about that up until now. Amid angry and emotional scenes in the Commons last week, Labour MP David Lammy tabled an emergency question about the deportation of serious criminals back to their homeland of Jamaica. People watching will see the way the government holds in such disrespect the contribution of West Indian, Caribbean and black people in this country, said the black MP for Tottenham, adding, when will Black Lives Matter again, as we heard earlier. If Lammy really wants to blame someone for the deportations, he would do well to start by looking in the mirror. Oh yeah, David Lammy, you forgot about that one, didn't you, sunshine? A government minister for 2 years under Tony Blair, in June 2007, Lammy was promoted to Minister for Universities in Gordon Brown's administration. Oh, so not only did you make this law in that administration there, but it was also an unelected one, taken over by Gordon Brown from Tony Blair with no election. So you served as a minister in an unelected government like the one you was running around before Christmas bemoaning about last year regarding Boris Johnson, who like Gordon Brown at that time had not won an election, though of course we know Boris Johnson went on to win the December election with a massive majority. 3 months later, his government passed the UK Borders Act, which, and I quote, allows automatic deportation of some foreign nationals in 2 circumstances: if they are imprisoned for specific offences, or they are imprisoned for more than 1 year. I mean, we already knew that, but it is definitely funny to see him being called out in the media for it. We need the BBC or Sky News to get him on there and put these questions to him in real time. Not a word of public protest at the time from Lammy, with his government salary and chauffeur-driven car. Of course not. At the time, he was being paid big money to deport criminals regardless of their colour. When you're in government, I guess, Lammy doesn't give a fuck about deporting black people. It's only when he's not in government that he has anything to say about the subject, as we can see here. In fact, his votes helped pass the legislation that enabled last week's deportations to take place. So no matter what Labour try and claim, and especially David Lammy, Jeremy Corbyn or any of the shadow cabinet for that matter, are just talking a complete load of bollocks. But let's be honest here, the only reason why Labour are moaning about this is because they lost the election and can do nothing else but sit there and piss and whine. They know Boris Johnson's not going to listen to them because of what they've all been doing for the last 3 years. I'm pretty sure Number 10 has even said that themselves. But as always, David the race-baiting fuckpig Lammy is talking more shit, even though it was actually him who signed this law into existence, along with, of course, the Gordon Brown government that he was neck-deep in. But on that note, guys, I am going to end the video there. Now, before I go, I've started doing live streams and uploading gaming content on my second channel. If you would like to come and join me for a live stream to chat in real time, have an interest in gaming related content on YouTube, or just want to follow me over there because you are a legend, the link will be down in the video description below and as a pinned comment. I hope to see you all there. Now, as always, before I go, I want to thank our PayPal, Patreon, Subscribestar and YouTube members for supporting the channel, along with everyone who watches my videos. Remember to let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Leave a like, subscribe with the notification bell and share this video as it helps the channel a lot. And I will see you all in the next one.
And Corbyn neutral by Christmas.
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors. Slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires. And that is why Britain is leaving. and it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going and we are glad to be going. We're off.
Ramon! Ramon!